Hi everybody, Cheaply Chic. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to jump into another embellishment project. I shared this video last time on my channel where we created these little matchbooks with these paper roll, embellishment roll type things, and I talked all about that in my previous video. If you missed that one and you would be interested in checking it out, that link will be in the description box down below. These were a lot of fun, and in fact they really make me smile when I look at them. So today we are going to create the same kind of thing out of an envelope, a couple of envelopes. I love these brown vintage envelopes that I have in my stash, and I just thought it would be a lot of fun to create another type of that little embellishment roll, as they're being called, even though this obviously isn't a roll, but still super fun, super cute. So if you would like to see how I made this, just keep watching. The first thing I decide is how I want my envelopes attached to one another. And I end up taking the flap of one envelope and gluing it on the inside of the other envelope so I can make a little booklet style cover. And then the outside flap, you'll notice that I don't glue down, and that's because I'm going to do something a little fun with that at the end, which you will see. So the scrapbook paper that I'm playing with again today is by Simple Stories, and it's called Cozy Days. I really love this collection and I'm having a lot of fun with it. I decide that I want to line the inside of my little envelope folder that I'm creating with some scrapbook paper. I also end up rounding the corners, inking the edges, and running it through my sewing machine really quick. I had to make sure to remember not to add glue to the back of my scrapbook paper since it's actually going to cover up some of that, the part of the envelope that's shaped funny. I definitely wanted to add the glue to my envelope so I didn't accidentally glue my pockets shut, because those will be really fun to tuck some ephemera in later. If you missed the first video where I created a little ephemera matchbook, I explain this little piece of paper roll that I created some embellishments on that I'm actually going to make it appear like it's stapled into this little envelope booklet. So I will link that in the description box down below in case you missed it and you'd like to check out how I made those little collage embellishments. But here in this project, I decided to skip that part since I already shared that with you guys. And then I just want to make it look like it's been stapled into this booklet. So I'm making a little paper flap here that I'm going to add some staples to a little later on. And then once I get my little booklet done, I'm actually going to glue my embellishment stack. I don't really know what else to call it. Like I'm racking my brain and I don't know what to call it. But my little pieces of embellishments that can be torn apart later by the recipient and used on their projects, I want it to look like it's part of this book. So I'm going to use that little piece of paper later to make it look like it's stapled into the book. And here I'm just making a little decorative element to add to the front of my little envelope folder. So I'm using some of those cut aparts. This is the part where I ran that scrapbook paper through the sewing machine. I didn't do that to the little embellishment page on the inside of the book, but I'm just decorating the front of my booklet to make it super cute. Now for one of my favorite parts of this little booklet, I'm going to use some music paper, some vintage music paper, so it's yellowed a little bit. I love that. And I'm going to cover the flap of this envelope that isn't glued down. And I'm going to add some string to this later to make a closure. I love using different prints for different things. I think some vintage dictionary book page would look great here. Some kind of book text that's really pretty. Maybe some Edith Holden book page would look pretty. But I love using the music notes and adding a different visual effect. I'm showing you here a little booklet that I decide to use for the inside of my envelope folder. There's just some beautiful artwork and poetry in here, so I love these little booklets, and I'm just going to cut this down to fit, and this is going to be my decorative element on the inside. These little leaves that I'm using here came from Hobby Lobby. They have had them the last couple of years. I haven't looked this year, but it is typically something they carry from year to year. I love them because they are so much smaller than a fabric leaf that, let's say, you would pick up at the Dollar Tree. Now we're going to add the embellishments to this folder, and this is the main attraction to this project, I would say, so I want it to be front and center. And this is something that when I gift it to a friend of mine, they can tear them apart and use them as they would like to on their projects. So I'm going to add it to the inside of the booklet here, and you'll see that I'm going to take that little piece of paper and add some staples so that my embellishments look like they've been stapled in, and I'm just going to glue it together. And now to create the closure for this little booklet. So I'm using my small heart punch because I want to add a little bit of decorative element under the eyelet and maybe strengthen it a little bit. I don't know, it sounds good to me. Then I'm going to add an eyelet, tie some twine to that, and then a button for extra cuteness. And that is it for this video today. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Again, if you missed the first video where I created a similar embellishment project like this and you'd like to see how I created my collage elements, that link will be in the description box down below. Thanks again for taking the time to watch today. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.